What up, people? You are live and direct on Petty Sports, brought to you by Kingz Broadcasting Studios. It's your boy, the host, Famous Facts Feez. That's what they call me. Sitting here with my man, Jansen Harris. Holla at the people.
What's up, what's up? Back in the building. Happy to be here today, man. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, we halfway through Black History Month. It's about to be another hot one. Man, how was the week for you, man, leading in? It was Valentine's Day. I don't know if you broke some bread, turned some tricks, did some flips, whatever it is that you do for the day, man. How was yours?
I usually do break bread, but this year I was saving money. I was saving money, single, like a Pringle raiser. Is that the saying? So I was just chilling, man. You feel me? Some
Like a Pringle?
I had to rhyme with something.
All right.
Single, Pringle, Ingles. That's the best I got today.
Okay, I ain't mad at you. Like, hey, you ain't spending.
It's something.
Not mad at that at all, man.
Yeah, saving a little money.
Okay, yeah, no, me and the wife took a little trip down to Orlando, hung out for a little bit. That was pretty cool, especially since it was like 10 degrees here the whole weekend. It was nice and 80. It was in shorts, in the pool, and then we came back and froze.
I feel you. I'm jealous, man. It must be nice.
Hey,
Man,
it was, man. Sometimes you gotta get away.
I feel you. This cold is I feel like we're up north or something.
It's great out there this time of year. I wouldn't want to be there in the summer. If it's that hot right now, like, man, you can keep Florida.
Shoot, that Florida weather need to come to Georgia, to be real with you.
Nah, we can wait, because when it gets here, it's going to be stupid. Then I want to be headed north or out west, one. But that ain't what you want in your life. So, man, we got a dope show for y'all tonight. No, a lot of y'all been waiting on us to talk basketball. We got a lot of basketball on the docket tonight. So a little bit of NFL. We got to chop it up on some tennis, a little bit of college football. So, you know, we hit what's going on. We got a whole lot. As I tell you every week, get your popcorn ready, because we going to get into it. We got another edition of Feez Fact or Fiction coming up later on. See if I can stump Jansen on these things. And I got my own other little petty announcement to make. So y'all stay tuned for all of that. I'll let you know when I decide to do that.
Okay.
All good, man. So we're going to jump right in on this basketball thing, man. So the word on the street now, well, not even on the street. Anthony Davis will miss 2 to 3 weeks due to a calf strain. So, I mean, are the Lakers actually trying to cover up the severity of this injury by reporting it as a calf strain? Because a week ago, it was Achilles tendinosis, and now it's a calf strain. The two of those sound light years apart in severity, and 2 to 3 weeks. Like, I don't know what they're doing with that. Like, are you believing that it's just a calf strain, or you think it's a little deeper than that?
I think it's deeper than that, Feez, but I don't think it's a tear or anything like that. But I think he is done for the season. I think the Lakers, they need to take this seriously. Him getting hurt again, and we know AD, he does have health issues at times. Luckily, he was healthy when it mattered in the playoffs last season, and that's what they need now too. They need to, and maybe this is a push for LeBron James, his MVP case, but I don't think we'll see Anthony Davis anytime soon. I think this injury, it isn't crazy serious, but it's serious enough where he doesn't need to be playing basketball right now. He needs to get healthy, because he's not healthy. Even before he got injured, he wasn't healthy. He's banged up. So Anthony Davis, he needs all the rest he could get, because if this becomes a serious injury, which I thought it was at first, Feez, the first thought in mind came is, how good is LeBron James and how good are the guys around him? Can they carry this team deep in the playoffs without him? That was the first thing I thought in my head when AD went down. I'm like, he might be done. So this is good news for them. If it's not really, really serious, he just don't play the rest of the regular season.
I can tell you what it is. I did a little research on what they actually said it was. This Achilles tendinosis is what they originally reported it as. He took the MRI. They said there's no rupture on the Achilles, but what he has going on is inflammation around the Achilles tendon. So it's not as bad as what we normally think of, where he's like it's like some structural damage, and they think he's actually going to tear it, and it's going to be the Kobe, KD, countless other people we know who've actually torn their Achilles. It won't be that situation all over again, but the calf strain has come as a result of the inflammation around the tendon, because it's overworking the calf. I mean, that happens all the time. I mean, you don't have to be a medical doctor to know that if something's wrong with one part of your leg, either another part of that same leg is going to work harder to overcompensate it, or you'll start getting injuries to the other side because it's being overworked to try to compensate for what you're not being able to do with it. So, I mean, that's where the calf strain is coming from. It's aggravating them to the point where he was just going in on a regular drive, pushed off of it, and was like, he had to pull up in the second quarter. So, I mean, that's going to be a problem. 2 to 3 weeks, they say he'll come back after the All-Star break, and then they'll reevaluate it. I think that's their soft way of saying, yeah, he's going to be out by 3 weeks, and when he comes back, he'll play a game or two, and then we're going to sit him again, and then he'll come back for a game or two. I mean, I think, honestly, with 43 games left in the season, we will see AD for maybe 10 of them, tops. He's not going to play anymore this year for real, for real. They're going to hold him to the playoffs, so that's what they should do. If they let him play and tear up that leg, that will be the biggest mistake they made.
Absolutely, and I'm looking at the standings right now, Feez. You have the Jazz at number 1, 23-5. Many of us don't expect them to be the number 1 seed, but maybe with this injury, it's more realistic for them. We know the Clippers at that 3 spot, Lakers at 2. Clippers at that 3 spot, that's going to be interesting now. How much do they climb up these standings? But I think the Lakers, if he only plays 10 games, let's say, like you say, right? Yeah. Where do you see them falling into place in the Western Conference? Maybe the 4th seed? Do you think they go that low, or do you think they hold on to a top 3 seed?
I think if it's going to just be LeBron basically running it all the way through, I could easily see them dropping as low as 6. Like, they can move way down because what this is going to mean, LeBron is, just like you said earlier, he'll definitely jump to the forefront of the MVP race because his numbers are going to go up. He'll average more points per game, probably more rebounds, maybe more assists. I don't know. He might have to take on a lot more of the load. But in addition to that, his minutes are going to go up. He's also, like, his field goal percentage will come down, that three-point percentage will come down, and his turnovers will go up. So I'm like, it's collectively just going to be an issue, like, where all LeBron fans will really be like, oh, my God, he's the greatest that we ever saw, when you're actually watching him wear himself down. He's going to end up doing too much to try to carry the team, just like he had been in past years, where, like, by the time you get to the playoffs, he's worn out. They already had a very shortened offseason, and now you're about to come out and have him overwork himself to compensate for not having AD out there? Like, they could definitely drop as low as I believe, a 6 seed.
Wow. I think they can hold on to a top 4 seed only because I don't believe that much. And I know the Blazers, Damian Lillard, he's finally starting to get that respect that he deserves. And the Suns, surprisingly, are the 5th seed. Well, I guess not too surprised with Chris Paul, his leadership, what he's bringing, the impact to that team. Anywhere he goes, to me, makes the team better. But The thing about the Lakers that's going to be interesting is, and we talked about it off air, Kuzma. Is Kuzma going to step up? Is he capable? Is Kuzma capable of taking his game to the next level? That's what I want to see with AD out, how his offensive production is going to increase. We know Schroeder's doing his thing. I've been proud of what he's been able to do. He's blended well with this Lakers team, but Kuzma's going to be the key. Can Kuzma raise his game to the next level? He needs to be held accountable. I think Frank Vogel and LeBron James are going to pull him aside and say, look, we need more out of you.
It doesn't matter what they pull him aside and say to him. I don't think he has that in him at this moment. I think he could be able to take himself to that next level if he was somewhere outside of playing in LeBron's shadow. But just like I was telling y'all earlier, he's playing with that burden on him. Like, if you don't show up, they're going to blame it all on you. It's not going to be LeBron's fault. It's going to be LeBron was out there playing by himself and he didn't have any help because AD wasn't there, and they're going to tear Kyle Kuzma a new one. And I don't think he's equipped to handle that pressure.
But here's my thing, and that's where I do blame LeBron James. I think LeBron James and Frank Vogel and this organization of the Lakers, they need to hold Kuzma more accountable. Kuzma needs to have a bigger role on this team for situations like that. They're putting too much on AD and LeBron James. That's why AD maybe was overworked a little bit. So we know some of the blame is going to go on Frank Vogel.
That's why they were winning, is because they were overworking him, though. If they don't play him, just like he's actually hurt, they're about to decline.
But I'm saying is this, he's been banged up even before this. They need to cut those minutes back. And LeBron James, I'm assuming he vouched for Kuzma to still be part of this core team. They could have potentially moved him. We know LeBron is playing GM, so now we have to hold LeBron accountable. Why isn't your guy performing?
Who does that? We don't hold LeBron accountable. What are you talking about?
I'm a LeBron guy, but we have to hold him accountable. Why is Kuzma still on this team if he's not producing what he should be doing? He's sitting around the 10 points a game, and when you watch these games, a lot of times he's lost. We're not even talking about it.
Yeah, but everyone is playing in his shadow. I mean, I'm not on here trying to knock LeBron. What I'm saying is this constantly happens. Like, the players that are on his team that aren't superstars, they disappear. They're just playing like, all right, when you need me to be a role player, it's going to be all him. They will take the blame, but they're not going to get any of the credit. If they go on a win streak, I'm not going to talk about what anyone's doing but him.
When I look at Schroeder, he's playing well. He's not completely in the spotlight, but he's still putting up points. I feel like LeBron has confidence in him, and he had confidence before even getting into this situation. He's played well everywhere he's been at. I'm just looking at it like this. Why is Kuzma not the third best player on this team when he's capable of doing that?
I mean, his capabilities don't match up with what he's actually producing. He's never really actually showed you that he could be that. It's just been the potential, and he's not lived up to it. And since they brought in a whole new regime, I don't know if that just shook his confidence. I mean, you do remember just a year or so ago, he seemed like he was going through some type of massive identity crisis, changing his hair, all kind of other crazy stuff. Like, Kuzma's got some other stuff going on out there.
Yeah, and one thing about Kuzma is this. I think the Lakers should think about moving him. If what I'm saying, if they're not going to increase his role and what you're saying is correct, and if this is what we're going to expect out of him, somehow, some way, there's going to be other teams that look at Kuzma, still a young player, great size. I feel like he still has potential. I think for some odd reason, Kuzma, he got too comfortable when he found out he was still going to be on the team and not traded in that move. And I think maybe the media boosted him up like he was going to be the third starter, and he hasn't been that guy. And people are shying away from putting blame on him or even him in the spotlight because they're winning, right? But I think they should think about moving him. Let's see what his trade worth is. Move Kuzma, bring in another piece.
I don't think he's going to be worth very much in the trade market, which is why they're probably not even exploring that as an option. But just as far as this little stretch, in 2 to 3 weeks, so we're talking about by All-Star break, they've got 8 games left. Do you think LeBron has enough juice to at least carry them into the All-Star break and hold serve in that 2 spot?
That's a big thing right there. I think the Clippers will overtake them. I think they can keep the 3rd spot for a little bit. I don't see AD coming back after those 2 weeks. He's going to miss a couple months. I think potentially we could see him miss the rest of the year. I think potentially. I think we're going to get more information next couple weeks. I think he should sit the rest of the year. This Lakers team should be good enough and well coached enough by Frank Vogel where they should keep the 3rd spot. The Blazers, they're a pretty good team, but they're not capable of what the Lakers are capable of doing. I'll give them a pass on the Clippers. I think the Clippers are built to win a championship. The Jazz are hot.
Check out who they're playing in these 8 games, though. They got the Nets tomorrow night. Granted, we know that's going to be a LeBron versus Harden because KD and Kyrie are not playing in that game either. So that's not quite what it looks like. But they got Miami, Washington, Utah, Portland, Golden State, Phoenix, Sacramento. That almost looks like the rundown of the Western Conference playoffs that they have to play in these 8 games. 6 of those 8 games are very tough. I mean, I'd be surprised if they came out of that 8-game stretch with a winning record without AD.
I think they could do 5-3, 6-2. I think this Lakers team is deeper than just LeBron and AD. This is a good team. That's why when people try to come and say, and really it's just, and I'm a LeBron defender, but I know it's coming from more of that side than it is other side. Oh, well, LeBron doesn't have a team around. No, there's guys on this team who can play. This is one of the best teams in the league, period. So they should be able to hold serve. With AD, they're the best team in the league, or second best team in the league. With the Nets, they're right up there. I think the Nets will give them a little bit of push, but without AD, this team shouldn't be that bad. I think fall into the 6th, 7th spot. If it does, then that's exposing LeBron a little bit.
That won't happen within a couple of weeks. But I'm saying if
he doesn't even play the rest of the year.
If they don't get AD back for 43 games, they're falling down to the 6th spot.
6th spot, not that deep. I think. Yes, AD matters a lot. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like he's not a top 5, top 6 player in this league, maybe top 7, depending on how you rank him. Everybody got a different list. But LeBron James, if he's the best player in the league still, like a lot of people are saying, I give him the benefit of doubt at number 1, where there's argument with Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid. I'll give him his credit because he's balling out. I'm talking about just this year. Then this team should not fall past the 3rd spot.
These other teams, they have better put together teams when you take AD out of the picture.
But if LeBron is that good still, and he's ranked up almost everybody's list at number 1, right? Then they should continue to win.
Them continuing to win and them being better than these other complete teams because of them are not the same debate.
I don't think some of these teams are that complete.
Saying that one player is better and then he makes them better than an entire other team without another guy who's a top 10 player is really ridiculous.
This Lakers team is still a really good defensive team with AD out the lineup. With AD in the lineup, they're probably the best defensive team in the league. I'm not going to sit here and act like AD isn't arguably the best defender in the league, but this team is still got players on it. I don't have trouble scoring outside of LeBron with AD out. I don't look at the Blazers, Suns, Spurs. I really don't know why the Nuggets are falling this low. The Nuggets and Warriors as teams that are more capable even with AD out. Well, the Warriors have just now gotten into gear, and the Nuggets clearly have that gear. They get there, they hit stride. Both of those teams could move up. While you're not confident in Portland that they could come down, those would be the teams that move up. Phoenix is looking really good with Chris Paul and Devin Booker out there. As you give Chris Paul someone else who can score like that, then they're going to win a lot of games. But the Lakers are going to have extreme problems scoring with just LeBron out there. Having AD on the court opens it up to make it so much easier for him. He's now going to start getting those double and triple teams again. He'll have to start taking much more difficult shots, relying on his teammates, and he's going to get it may be him getting down on him, but even if it's not him, everyone in the media is going to jump on the rest of his teammates and be like, they're not showing up. They're not making shots. They're not helping him. He went for a 35-point triple-double. He keeps putting up all these numbers, and they're losing because nobody else is contributing. Well, again, if this team drops to this 6th spot, we got to hold LeBron accountable for this because the way he's passing the ball, the way he's able to see things like Magic Johnson, right? A lot of these guys are going to get opportunities, his teammates, to knock down shots. Hopefully they can knock down shots. Hopefully he still creates and still is attacking. The thing about LeBron is this, okay? Yes, guys are going to get open opportunities, but he needs to be aggressive. We know LeBron comes out, and I'm not going to say he preserves his energy. He's very pass-happy. He's going to have to say, you know what, I have to take over games. I'm going to have to drive and kick. There's going to be cutters to the basket. So I want to see what type of plays that Frank Vogel draws up. This is also going to be on Frank Vogel, too. How aggressive, how motivated these guys are going to be. I expect, and let's talk back to Kuzma. For some reason, I think Kuzma's going to play a little bit better. I think Kuz, that 10 points a game needs to be 13-14. 13-14. To me, that's a lot, Feez. That's one more 3 a game. Give me another 3 a game. You're going to get opportunities. To me, he's starting to become like, and I'm not trying to get off subject a little bit. He reminds me of Lonzo a little bit. They don't have that hungry factor. Mike was talking about it off air. I need some more, be more Brandon Ingram than Lonzo Ball. I'm not talking about the way they play, just that attitude. Yeah, but he doesn't have it. You can't infuse an attitude in somebody. I'm just saying, sometimes pressure makes diamonds. There's going to be more pressure on him. Some of these role players, there's going to be more pressure on him. I expect Shooter to play well, pass the ball well. I like how he scores. And I think he's flowing well with this offense. And LeBron, what are the pep talks going to look like? There has to be some type of fire for 5. Well, who else on that team outside of AD has showed that they can perform under that kind of pressure? Not to that level. None of them. But we're going to see. There's no evidence to suggest that they will. But to fall to the 6th spot, 7th spot, these other teams in the West, okay, we'll give the Jazz are hot right now. The Jazz are hot. They're a little bit underrated. They're not getting their respect from the media. I think they'll finish at top 3 seed. Just the way they're playing, I'm a little shocked. I'm not going to lie. I thought they would be, you see where Denver's at? I thought Denver may be more likely to be in that number 1 spot right now than the Jazz. I thought the Jazz would hang around. But credit what the Jazz are doing. They're staying focused. They're playing each game hard. Every game is like a playoff game for them, how I see them play. Their intensity's up there. But when I look at most of these teams in the West, if the Lakers hit the number 6 spot, maybe we should give the MVP to Anthony Davis. Because I'm serious, Feez. That shows me AD's the real MVP. Because and the only reason I'm saying this, Feez, it's not even on some fanboy stuff. I'm just saying, if LeBron's the front runner, we've seen on every show today, to win the MVP, he's the best player in the league, right? This team, I'm not saying shouldn't miss a beat, but they should stay a top 3 seed. There's no reason they should have. And if they don't, that tells me right there LeBron's not the MVP. He's not the best player in the league. He's not. Because to drop to the 6th spot? I don't think it will even say that. It's to say that the rest of that team is not as good as everyone thinks that it is, just because having LeBron and AD on the court at the same time makes their lives so easy. None of them have been pressed to actually have to produce like that. True, but when you're the best player in the league, you need to create opportunities for other people. So this is a great opportunity. Other people ain't that good. The Lakers have good pieces there. They just need to be used right.
They're good. They're not ready to carry that load. They can't shoulder. They can't pick up the slack for AD.
LeBron needs to figure out how to use his role players. It's that simple. He needs to figure it out
for AD.
Not completely. AD, he's a heck of a player. He's a rare type of player. But I'm not saying pick up completely. I'm just saying things can't fall apart like that. So that's what I'm saying.
Can the Lakers repeat as champions without Anthony Davis?
No, I don't think so. No, not champions.
You about to try to make a case?
Excuse me.
Absolutely not.
You see, my body's telling me that. The inside of me slapped me real quick. But no, they're not going to win the championship without 8. There's no way. This team might get swept by the Nets if they even get that far. I don't think the Clippers, they might be able to beat them anyways with full strength. The Jazz will definitely beat them.
I mean, there's many teams that'll beat them once they get to the playoffs because LeBron will be worn out on top of not having what he needs to contend against what these teams in the Western Conference have.
Look, if this Lakers team hits the 6 seed, Feez, and we're going to be talking about this the next couple shows, we're going to be talking about and talking about it off air, then I'm going to be very concerned about where LeBron's going with things.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's going to be a slippery slope for them boys, but it is 8:24, so we got to definitely pay our homage to the late, great Kobe Bean as we do every Wednesday night. I think he might got the countdown down this time.
3. So hold on, man. Let's get that countdown in 3, 2, 1.
Kobe! Rest in peace to the Black Mamba. Kobe Bean would never forget. We can't do that. And we talking about his Lakers. Fitting.
Yeah. I got a countdown right this time, though. You see, got a little practice, you feel me? Not everything's an easy basket, you feel me?
That 3 counts real.
It is.
Yeah, man, but there's absolutely no way this team is winning a championship without Anthony Davis, which is why I think he will play this season, but I don't think he should play anymore this regular season. Put him on ice till May 22nd when the playoffs start. They shouldn't drop his lows to be in a play-in tournament, which that's a whole nother animal that the NBA just has conjured back up from the bubble. But they shouldn't drop that far. They'll be in the playoff race, but their first-round opponent is going to be difficult. You drop to the 6 in the West, I mean, that means now you're going to end up playing what? If not being like the Clippers or Utah, you're going to end up seeing possibly Denver, Phoenix, Portland, Golden State. None of those teams are slaw. Like you're going to really have to show up. And we saw what Denver was able to do when Jamal Murray gets it going. So regardless of where they're sitting right now, they got a lot of season left. All they got to do is get hot at the right time, and that's going into the playoffs. But that seeding will make a difference.
Let me ask you something. When you saw AD go down and holding his Achilles, did you think the worst? Did you think that this was a situation where he could potentially be out for the season? I just want to know your thoughts on it when you first seen it, because I thought that might have been something serious.
I mean, he seemed like he was done. I mean, unlike Kevin Durant, he's a very big dude. Like, they're about the same height, but he's way bigger than Durant. He's putting a lot more pressure on his leg.
They need to learn from Durant. Remember, Durant kind of rushed back and stuff. And it didn't even look, when Durant went down the second time, it didn't look so bad, but I guess we just knew it was done. Hopefully that's in the same situation with AD. That's why I say they need to be precautious on this, man. They need to, look at it and be like, okay, if you got to sit out months, you got to do it, because if he comes back and it's a major injury, man, Frank Vogel, they're going to throw him under the hot seat, man.
The comeback for Anthony Davis will probably look more like Boogie Cousins than Kevin Durant.
Wow. You think so?
It's because of his size. Kevin Durant plays a completely different game than both of them. He's not down there banging, and he doesn't weigh more than 115 pounds. I mean, he weighs more than that, but he doesn't really seem like he doesn't weigh very much.
You think he'll fall off that much? We know Boogie kind of really fell off with that injury.
That's a lot of weight on a very big dude pushing on a very weak Achilles, and he's going to be scared to touch it when you come back from an injury like that. You see how tender people are on them.
Yeah,
it's going to be a mental thing on top of the fact that it's not all the way good. He's got to be very careful about how he approaches that. I know people would probably call him weak and all types of other things if he decided to actually sit the season, including the playoffs. But for the longevity in his career, that probably would be the best move.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see how things play out.
Yeah, man. He's going to have to sit, and he's going to have to sit for a long time.
Yeah, I think they're going to take They're going to take the safe way out of this, and they're not going to rush him back. No reason to rush him back. No reason to panic. They've been there, done that. They won a championship together. As long as they get things right for the playoffs, that's all that matters.
I mean, he'll come back and play a few games just because they don't want to just come right out and tell everybody that it's as serious as it is. But we aren't going to see him too much. That's why they left themselves that wiggle room saying that they're going to reevaluate it once he comes back. So then the re-eval decision will be something to the effect of he needs 3 more weeks.
Okay.
He needs till May 22nd specifically.
I'm telling you, it's going to be a good month or 2 before we see him. If we see him. That's a big if to me.
They've probably already got it timed out. What, the All-Star break is May 5th to May 10th? I mean, my bad, not May, March. March 5th to the 10th, and they're going to May 22nd? So that's looking like 2.5 months. They're going to push him on out to the end of May.
I want to see what stories come out, like what the team is going to say. I guess we're going to go into what the doctors are saying, if there's going to be any new reports, more serious reports coming out. So let's see day to day what comes out, because they throw things at the media, and it's a different story. We know NBA, they like to rest players anyway, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to definitely downplay the story.
Yeah.
They do not want to set everybody into a frenzy like, oh, AD is gone. What's LeBron going to do? They want to keep everybody with the hope that AD will be back.
Yeah. You think LeBron's going to be 40 minutes now? 40 minutes a night, or do you think they should keep him around?
If they're going to keep winning, he's going to have to play 40-plus minutes a night. Wow. If he keeps playing he's averaging, 34 and a half minutes right now? If he keeps playing what he's playing, then they're absolutely dropping to their 6th seed.
Wow, okay.
His usage is going to have to go up, like way up.
Okay. So this one plays out. It's interesting.
Yeah, but definitely no way they win a title without Anthony Davis.
We got a little update. Look at the Sixers, man. Up 55-34, first place in the East.
But it's Houston. You see DeMarcus Cousins running down that court? He looked like he's wearing a size 27 shoe where he dragging that foot around.
Yeah.
He can't move.
At least John Wall looking all right.
That's what it looks like when you get a big dude coming off an Achilles. He's too heavy. It's like he's running around ginger on it.
Yep, and the thing about him, too, he always had those issues with staying in shape. So an injury like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's only standing to get bigger. You can't work out.
Yeah.
Yes, man, we'll keep an eye on that. But we're going to keep this thing right along with the basketball talk. We're going to move this to the hometown Atlanta Hawks. They've already had an ongoing issue with John Collins. So John Collins reportedly, he came out. He didn't say this to the media, but this definitely got leaked out, and he absolutely didn't deny it. He criticized the way Trae Young is running the offense. Specifically said that they need to get into sets more quickly. They need to limit early shot clock attempts. And he wants to be more involved. Like, the ball needs to move more. So, I mean, given John Collins coming out and saying this, and the fallout behind it being Trae Young coming back the next game, like the very next day, and only taking 9 shots and scoring 7 points, they get blown out by the Charlotte Hornets. Is John Collins costing the Hawks enough to where the Hawks should consider moving him?
I don't think the Hawks should move John Collins, only because if he sincerely feels that way, like the ball needs to be moved, I agree. I think Trae Young's a really good player. Don't get me wrong. He can score, pass the ball. The stat sheet's going to look good. He got the fancy 3-point shot. However, he does tend to hold on to the ball too much. I don't know if it's a Lloyd Pierce thing. I don't know what it is, but the thing about this Hawks team is, and I see it with Cam Reddish and sometimes Hunter, and when they get Hunter back, I think that they should win more games. But I think John Collins, he wants to be featured more. I think that I do like them on the alley-oops, but I think he needs to have the ball in his hands more often. He's playing pretty good. Since he's been drafted from 2017 to 2019, he's improved as a player, okay?
Yeah, his points per game this season are down from last year.
It's down a little bit, and I know the Hawks have been losing, and people are expecting them to be in the playoffs. I still think they'll make the playoffs, but there is an issue with this Hawks team defensively, and I think Trae Young, it needs to, even though Clint Capella is the anchor of that defense, I think Trae Young's lack of defense or even effort to me. I was watching the game against the Knicks, and there's an effort problem. When you see Derrick Rose kind of looking like old Derrick Rose, he played with way too much confidence when Trae Young was guarding him. I'm not even trying to be funny here. I was very concerned about that. When you have your leader of your team not even try, I'm not even saying you have to be the best defender, but even trying defensively, that's an issue. So I think
Trae's a little dude, man. How many guys that smaller lockdown defenders?
That's what I'm saying. You don't have to be locked down. I'm just saying some effort. And I think if Trae Young commits to at least say, okay, I want to get better defensively, I want to buy into Lloyd Pierce's system, I think that'll make the rest of the team better. I think sometimes Trae Young, he's focused on holding the ball too much. He's scoring too much, which scoring is not a bad thing. I like the numbers, but when you just watch outside of the stats, I feel like he is maybe holding back John Collins a little bit. I don't think the Hawks should move him. I think if they don't make the playoffs, they need to bring in a coach who's more of, I don't want to say Lloyd Pierce isn't a leader. I don't want to say that because I don't necessarily think he's a bad coach, but I don't think they're responding to him how they should. Because I do think he is preaching defense, but they're not doing that. Every game is the same. The way they blow games, it's the same. It's the turnovers and the lack of defensive effort across the board. Shout out to Clint Capella, though. He's been playing well. DeAndre Hunter, some people...
Rebounds, blocks, all of those are in Clint Capella's favor. But it's like ever since the fallout, it seems like he really hurt the chemistry of the teams. I mean, they started off well. Like, they were blazing at the beginning of the season, started off 4-1. They had a couple of games slide, and then he came out and said this. And since that statement, that was on January the 8th, they're 7-12 since then. Like, the team has tanked ever since then, and it seems like regardless of what deficiencies they have on defense, he messed up the chemistry they had going on. They looked like they were easily going to be a playoff team and really in the mix. And ever since then, it's been ugly. But to your point about John Collins wanting to have the ball more and be more a part of the offense, in the 5 games this season where John Collins has led the team in scoring, they're 0-5. When he's scoring, they lose. It's not a good look when he's the one leading the charge. On the flip side of it, when Trae Young leads the team in scoring, which is most of the time, they're 9-6. Trae is 11th in the league in scoring and 4th in assists. Clearly, he's passing the ball more than folks are giving him credit for. He make it sound like he's doing what people were saying James Harden was doing, which he absolutely wasn't either. He's distributing the ball. People aren't, like, he's not getting the support that he needs on the scoring side.
I think Trae Young is doing too much sometimes. I know the numbers support that, okay, well, Trae Young scoring is a great thing. 11th in the league in scoring. The assists are there. I'm just saying, when you look at the flow of the offense, you take the stats out of it. I know stats do tell some type of story. I'm not even saying John Collins really is the end-all, be-all. Like, he's so darn great.
They don't win when Trae's not scoring.
But the statement he made is true, that they need to swing the ball around more. Get Cam Reddish involved more, DeAndre Hunter involved more. Maybe you're right about the John Collins don't need to be the primary guy, but that moving the ball statement is true.
Yeah, but like they need Trae Young to be doing the scoring in order for them to win.
But he's been doing the scoring. They're still not winning. He was doing the scoring last year. They weren't winning.
Yo, what about the injuries, man? Like, I really like John Collins, and I think what he said was true about Trae. Not saying Trae is a bad player, but John has taken on a different role this year since Capella is more involved in the offense. He and Capella are splitting the ball, essentially. Some nights it works better than others, but overall, I think what's really hurting this team, to Jansen's point, is the defense late in the games and the sustained injuries. You haven't had Rondo, Dunn. You got Hunter on the bench. You got the rookie that's not playing every night. You know, so it's a lot of pieces that they brought over in the offseason that was supposed to help with the scoring and defense that have not really been a part of the team as of yet in a real consistent way.
Oh, yeah, Gallinari. I almost forgot about that. Why is Gallinari not getting the ball more either? He needs more minutes. He can score. I know the defensive... He's not great defensively. Why is he in the game more? And I guess that's a Lloyd Pierce problem as well, too.
And Trae ain't subbing.
And here's the thing, man. Since all of us, we were talking about different problems here, there. That smells like Lloyd Pierce is going to get fired. I don't know about if it's going to happen during the season. I hope it doesn't happen during the season. I'm not a big fan of letting the coach go mid-season.
It's time for a culture change.
But at the end of the year, if this team does in the playoffs, and I said it many times, he's going to get fired. But he deserves to at least finish the year out because of the injuries.
Jansen.
They don't always give everybody that kind of rope.
To that point, I believe Lloyd Pierce knows that's what's on the table because he's taken 2 to 3 days off to go see his wife or be with his wife to have a kid. And the assistant coach that's coaching, a lot of people said he's the one that's going to take his spot when Lloyd Pierce moves on.
You saying he's on his way out because he went to go be there for the birth of his child?
Not saying that, but I believe.
Hey, damn, this tough crowd.
But
he can't be there for childbirth?
No, but that's a rare deal. That's something rare that a coach really does. You don't hear about that in the NBA very often.
I think they made
most of the NBA coaches are too old to be having kids. That's why you don't hear about it.
I think they made it a big deal because of that. Because a lot of people, maybe around the Hawks, a lot of media people do believe that that's going to be the replacement during the season. That's what a lot of fans want. It's 50-50. Some people are holding Trae Young and these players and really buying into the injuries and stuff like that. Some people are saying Lloyd Pierce is a bad coach. I'm even hearing people say he's the Dan Quinn of the NBA. I've heard people say it, man. Twitter's crazy.
Every coach in the city is the same.
That's what they're saying, man.
It's crazy, man. They'll never know. That's for sure.
Yeah, man, but I still feel like regardless of what's happening out there with the offense, John Collins, he's not done enough to be the one saying it.
I think another thing is this too, Feez. We have to look at the emotional side of it because the Hawks didn't come out and say, look, he's our guy. We want to give him big money. You feel me? They're not coming out and saying that. He's a young player. He's a budding all-star. He was a 2010 guy. You feel me? He's done that already in his career. He's shown people get the long-range shot. He can get nasty, get down there, and make some big boy moves, some power moves.
I mean, he's explosive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. John Collins, in some teams' eyes, is a max player. But Atlanta doesn't believe that.
He's not the franchise guy. Like, you just came for the guy who is the franchise. I don't care what he says about Trae Young. If Trae decides he don't want John there, he can go to the front office and they're getting rid of him. John has nothing to stand on to make these kind of statements publicly. If he want to holler at Trae and be like, hey, this is what needs to happen, that should have been done privately.
I think even the GM, Travis Slink, we have to blame him as well, too. Everybody praises him because some people believe that the Hawks arguably had the best offseason, but a lot of these guys aren't playing. And then the situation with John Collins, is he going to get a deal or not? Are you going to trade him or not? This keeps dragging on. The Hawks are getting worse. They're going to have to address this to the media.
So if they decide to trade him, where should he go?
I'm trying to see. There's a bunch of teams that could use him. There's a bunch of teams that could use him, but maybe the Spurs. The Spurs believe he could be a franchise player. Maybe there.
Do you think they would build a team around him?
I don't think he's an A player, the number one guy, but he could be a 2, a 3, strong 3, kind of borderline 2, depending on who's on the team.
I mean, where he could help is if he went to the Lakers. Ain't no AD anymore. He's clearly not going to play until the playoffs.
You think
he could go in there and help right away?
I think the situation will get worse. They trade for Kuzma and some draft picks.
If they were interested in like a Montrezl Harrell and a draft pick, they might could work that. I mean, they're not getting a whole lot for John Collins now.
I like that trade better, but that's if you're willing to do that. I don't know if I'll do that if I'm the Hawks. I don't know about that.
I mean, if you got one guy who's killing the chemistry, Harrell's going to come in and play his role. He's going to play hard. He plays defense. He'll be all over the boards. He doesn't need very many shots. He would fit better with Trae Young to not actually butt head with him, thinking that the offense needs to run through me more. He's not asking for that ball.
Here's one thing I'm confused about, Feez, and maybe you got more clarity on it. Do the Hawks want – I don't know if the Hawks want John Collins or not. Because 1 week it seems like, okay, Collins is the guy, but what's up with the contract? You have to address that, man. Everybody, no matter what the profession is, people want to know. To me, if you're borderline on my contract, that tells me a lot right there. It's going to be hard to be motivated when you're not even coming out saying, I'm the guy. There's talks. Where's the extension? Why isn't he getting his deal? Other guys are getting paid.
Well, I mean, if he's at a contract year and he's trying to really push for it, then maybe it would behoove you to shut up making these public statements. I'm not saying that he can't voice his opinion, but we don't need to know about it. It's a problem if we all know exactly what was said.
look, I think everything he said, even though I don't think he knew the media knew or something like that. Maybe it was a little sidebar conversation. But everything he said was facts. Somebody needs to hold this team accountable. Because, yes, Trae Young, all the assistants. What about the turnovers, man? What about the turnovers? What about holding onto the ball too much? Why does Cam Reddish look timid some nights? You got to make your guys better.
But he blamed it all on Trae.
It ain't all on Trae.
According to John Collins, it's all Trae's fault. He didn't go to any of the other pieces. He said it is Trae's fault.
The more we talk, the more Lloyd Pierce about to get fired. That's what's happening right now. Lloyd, I'm trying to help out. If anybody listening, if Travis like, listen, I want you to last the rest of the season. That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of guys getting fired in the middle or before All-Star break or after All-Star break.
Okay, here's another one.
Especially after having a baby.
Since it's on the table anyway, what would you think about a trade with Detroit to bring in Blake Griffin and Mason Plumlee and a second rounder?
I think people in Atlanta will be so pissed off bringing in Blake Griffin. No, I like Blake Griffin, but I want to see Blake Griffin with the Nets, Clippers, or Lakers. But in Atlanta, watch him blow his knee out come to Atlanta, and then all of a sudden he go. Look at the injuries already. Almost all the guys Atlanta got in free agency are hurt. I was a big fan of Rondo coming here. I think he could help mold Trae Young, and he's been out.
I mean, Blake's averaging 12, 5, and 4. Plumlee's averaging 10, 9, and 4. The two of them together are good for just as much production as John Collins is giving you, in addition to the fact that neither one of them really need the ball like that.
I don't think Blake Griffin would be motivated to go to a team like the Hawks. I really think Blake is trying to go back to the Clippers or the Nets. I think Blake Griffin will play motivated ball with the Nets or the Lakers.
I mean, none of those teams are bringing him in.
I'd like to see. Are they going to cut him? Isn't he getting cut? Because nobody's going to trade for him. They're going to cut Blake.
Waiting on a trade. So yeah, they're going to end up cutting him.
Because I don't think you're going to see any type of huge interest. Somebody giving up a good enough piece. If I'm the Hawks, definitely that's off the table. I think Blake is that piece you bring in to win a championship.
I mean, the only way they're going to be able to trade Blake is if they trade him somewhere and they take on his contract. I mean, it's $34 million, and no one is going to take that.
Yeah, absolutely not.
I mean, Detroit's going to have to eat a piece of that contract, like a lion's share of that contract, in addition to shipping them out. Like this, it's going to be a deal where Detroit essentially loses, but in order to get off of him, they're going to have to do it. It's going to be something similar to this Carson Wentz deal. Nobody's trading for what they're asking for. Same thing on that side.
At least Blake Griffin has done something. It seemed like a long time ago, though.
How about Bradley Beal? I wouldn't mind seeing him.
Yeah. That changes the culture. Bradley Beal's good.
Because he's a scorer.
No.
Easy bucket.
No, I'm not saying on the Atlanta side.
Oh.
Why would they send Bradley Beal here for John Collins?
I would.
Well, you can package him up with Cam Reddish. You know
I wouldn't do that either.
And maybe another round draft pick.
You have to give him half the team. He's better than everybody you got, not named Trae Young.
Well, like I said, that's what I would like.
And you could start to debate that.
I would like to see
this year.
that.
I would debate that. This
I
year.
would like to see Bradley Beal here.
Like, that's not even a foregone conclusion that Trae is better than him.
We can get
There's
rid
no
of-
way they trading John Collins for him.
If
Two or three players, you got Goodwin, you can get rid of. You got Cam Reddish, you got Collins, and maybe a draft pick or two, and Bradley Beal.
That'd be good. That would be good. But
That's
even
a fight
for Washington, though, I don't know if I want to give up. Bradley Beal is so good, man. I know he's playing on a bad team, but I watch him play. I'm like, wow, Bradley be balling, man.
I mean, they're not looking to move him. There's no way they'll do that.
I want to see the Hawks make a move, though.
He seems unhappy. I don't know. That's why I said it.
I don't know. I think a couple of these lower level trades, I think, are more realistic. They may not be blockbusters because John Collins is not a blockbuster player, and it ain't gonna be no huge name unless it so happens to be the disgruntled Blake Griffin, who is a used to be big name that we still all know.
He fell off pretty quickly, and nobody really talks about it. But yeah, Blake Griffin has some injury problems.
Man, he said he wanted to go to a contender. He said that today.
Nets,
He's
Clippers,
getting traded.
Lakers.
I mean, the only way he's gonna go to a contender is if he waits until they cut him.
That's what he said.
Ain't no contender taking on that money. He's not good enough for that. I mean, I don't even know that the Lakers would pick him up even after they cut him. Look, he's not filling an Anthony Davis level void. He's just another name.
He's something. A couple of alley-oops. If he's healthy,
can he still
healthy?
dunk?
Is he completely healthy? That's what I want to know. If he's completely healthy, he could be that piece. But this little 12.2 points, that tells me there's something there. There's something there. I don't know if it's he probably want to blame the coaching or lack of motivation because the team is just always bad or always in the same spot. It's like Detroit and Charlotte. It's like they always get players, overpay, and then they're either it's a knee, there's a problem, they just stop performing completely how they were on the prior team.
It's gonna be a wrap. But I mean, he'll go somewhere.
This Blake Griffin don't go to my Knicks. I think things are going okay right now.
Hey, if they want to move John Collins, and then he can come in a package. Blake Griffin and Mason Plumlee with a second-round pick.
I'm telling you, Atlanta's not gonna want that. They're not gonna want Blake Griffin here again.
Hey, I mean, they're not getting anybody that's gonna have you thinking, "Oh, we're poised for a championship run now." John Collins doesn't demand that. If John Collins would shut up and develop, or keep just keep your voice in house, then they had a chance to build something with him. He's offset the chemistry. That's way worse than how good he is.
I think John Collins on the Spurs, again, I don't know for who would be a good for his career.
If you offset the team chemistry, then you gotta go. You're causing more problems than what you're helping.
There is no chemistry with the Hawks, though. One night it's this guy doing this and this guy not doing this, or Trae Young, all these.
There seemed to be chemistry before he came out and said this. You're not going to tell me that y'all all didn't think that the Hawks had turned the corner to start the season, and then all of a sudden he comes out like, I want the ball more, you're shooting too much, you need to get into the offensive sets more quickly, and all of a sudden, things went downhill.
The Hawks are an up-and-down team. I just think it's one of those things, man, where they just hit that little season slump, and I'll think they come up a little bit. What happens if they win the next 7 out of 10 games, which could happen? The Hawks are an up-and-down team.
Well, I don't know. What you think, Petty Nation? Y'all chime in the chat room. Let us hear your opinions. You can hit us up at 678-871-9602. Holla at us. We're going to take a little quick break to pay these bills. My man Mike Bell about to come in, let you know who's the ones who make this thing go. Take it away.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Kingz Broadcasting would like to thank you for tuning in to Petty Sports Wednesday Night Edition with Famous Facts, Feez, and Brother Jansen on deck tonight. You know what I'm talking about? We see you in the chat room checking in with us. Miss Sherrich, you know what I mean? Jay Boogie, yeah, he rocking that gear tonight. He's rocking the gear. If you like the gear that he's rocking, you can go to KingzBroadcasting.com. Kingz with a Z. You can check out the hoodies, the t-shirts, the mugs you see on the tables. I mean, we got it all, man. So help support black business, help support black business, help support black business here, because we do. You know, share the show. Everybody that has already, thank you so much. Like Feez said, you can call in to the Petty Sports line at 678-871-9602. So get at us. We'll hear what you have to say. And let Feez chump you off, or Brother Jansen, you know what I mean? But do understand the only opinion that matters around here is Petty Sports. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. ATL, ho. Back to the regular scheduled program.
Yes, sir. I was like, he ain't got me on. Hey, man, we're going to come back in this thing and change gears. I told you we had a whole lot of different sports to talk about. We're taking it to the Australian Open back in the Down Under. Serena Williams advanced to yet another Australian Open semifinal with her win over Simona Halep. Does she have enough left in the tank to beat Naomi Osaka tonight en route to major number 24?
I mean, it's a great story, Feez, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And going back to the big one where she was criticizing and kind of took that attention away from her and stuff like that. I know they say they moved past it, but I think she sticks it to her. You feel me? I'm not big on tennis and stuff like that, but what I do know is, you know, her saying, I think she's great, she's a competitor, cool cat, and stuff. You know, she's not a cool cat. It's a grown woman. She's in her prime. She's going to put Williams away today. I think it's going to be an easy victory. I think Serena will be motivated, but I think she's past her prime a little bit at 39 years old. Also, I'll say this. She talks about Serena saying she's intimidated by her, this, that, and the third. I don't think that's true at this stage. I think she's seen.
I don't believe that
Yeah,
at all.
I don't believe it. I think she's just showing her respect. But at the end of the day, it's her time. She has the confidence. She's been playing well. The proof is in the pudding. She's going to win.
Yeah, I mean, she's 16 years younger than Serena. She grew up watching her. So, I mean, that's like one of her idols in her sport.
Yeah.
But for her to say that she's intimidated, I don't believe that at all. I mean, she's 2-1 against Serena head-to-head, and she beat her in the U.S. Open final. So she's experienced success against her, in addition to the fact that if you watch the match between Serena and Halep, it was not the way the score would indicate. I mean, she beat her 6-3, 6-3. It seems like it was a nice, quick straight set match. It was anything but that. I mean, that match was an hour and about 45 minutes or so for 2 sets. That's ridiculously long in a 2-set match in tennis. I mean, it was she went up 2-love in the first set. Halep came back, tied that thing up, and then she kind of unraveled a bit. Like, this was like the story of both sets. Serena won the middle of the set and then rolled through the back piece, but the beginning half was like just a hard-fought battle. She only hit 4 aces. Like, that's unheard of in a Serena match. That monster serve that she's made a career on does not seem to exist anymore. It's like when I watch her out there, I mean, like, I'm definitely rooting for Serena all day long. But when I watch her, it's like she's not moving like she used to. She does seem like she's in a little bit better shape than she had been in the past, but that's still a far cry from the Serena that we're used to seeing and the Serena that was dominating the sport. She's still, even on the downside of her career, good enough to beat most all of the women on the tour. But when she gets up into the higher competition and the women who are now emerging and starting to win majors, she doesn't have enough in the tank for them. I mean, she got broke 3 times in this match. They were going back and forth getting breaks. She was down 1-3 in the second set, and then she came back. But we're not seeing that Serena fire that we used to see anymore. She used to get in a match like this. If she got down 1-3 in the second set, Serena cuss herself out in the middle of the match. Like, you could see her. She'd be yelling like, come on. She'll throw a racket. She goes all the way in and like she channels the inner beast mode and all of a sudden just starts ripping returns. Her serve gets even stronger and all of a sudden everything she hits is a winner. But what I see out of her now is like she's playing a game that's more similar to what you see out of Rafael Nadal, where it's more of a finesse game where you hit the corners and play for position and try to run your opponent back off the court, off to the sides, and then get an easy winner when they've gotten too far away from the play to return it. But in turn, her not hitting the ball that hard anymore, she's not pushing anyone off the court, and women are having a much easier time returning her serves, her second serves, her volleys. It's like they're really out there getting with her. Like she's on her back foot, on her heels, sometimes ripping winners because she's still a beast. So like it comes out every now and then, but it doesn't seem like she has that gear to turn on and leave on anymore.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think it's the fire, Feez, and I think even the intimidation. Let's go back to those comments and stuff like that. She's not intimidating her opponents. People aren't scared of Serena anymore, and I even hate to talk about this topic because it makes it look I'm hating. You feel me? This is a legend. This is the greatest of all time. But her time has come where she's not top level anymore. The speed isn't there. The quickness isn't there.
I mean, the power's not even
gone.
really there anymore.
It's not. She's not putting people away as quick as she should. They're sticking around. They're feeling confident. I just don't, like you were saying, I don't see her taking it to that next level in this matchup. It is good. It's a good name matchup back and forth. The respect's going to be there. They might run a storyline on ESPN, but that's just about it. This isn't going to be close. It's probably not going to be memorable outside of the 2 names. Osaka should win this one easily.
Yeah, I mean, last time she met her in that final, she beat her 6-2, 6-4. It's going to be something ugly like that again. I mean, Osaka's moving better. She's making far less mistakes. She's got a lot more juice in that tank because, like I mentioned earlier, she's only 23 years old, and she's actually getting better. Like, it's motivating her to go play against Serena. I mean, unfortunately for Serena, Osaka's not intimidated. And Serena just doesn't have it in her. I mean, like, I hope she does. I mean, I hope she's watching and being offended by what I'm saying, and she channels that beast. And I would love to come in here next Wednesday and say that I was wrong.
Absolutely. And Osaka, highly paid. Highest paid women athlete last year over Serena. Okay, so so all around, man, she's just taking W's. It's her time, 23 years old. She has the energy. She's in her prime, only getting better.
I mean, she rolled in that match. She won 6-2, 6-2 just before Serena had that knockout drag-out match with Halep. But her 6-2, 6-2 match lasted every bit of about 45 minutes to an hour. Serena's match was almost twice as long. But it was 6-2, 6-2 in one and 6-3, 6-3 in the other. That's a tale of two matches that the score does not always tell you what you saw.
Absolutely. 100% agree with you on that one, Feez.
Yep, I mean, hopefully we'll be wrong. Serena,
we're going for Serena, though. Let's not get things twisted. That's who we're rooting for. We're just breaking down the real in this situation, right? But we are going for you, Serena.
dig down and show us something. We need it. I mean, can you get 24 for us, please? I'm getting tired of hearing them talk about Margaret Court.
Yeah. We want 24 for Serena. Don't get things twisted.
Give us one more. At least one. 25 would really be the move. At least if you tire, they can stop placing her in front of you on that graphic.
Yeah.
I don't even like to see it. I don't know why they do it, really. I mean, it's the open era.
Petty with it, man.
It's the open era, though. Margaret Courts were like that. That was against amateurs. Professional players weren't allowed to play in the tournaments when she was winning them. I don't understand how hers count like that.
Her grandkid's about to call up in the show or something.
Call. If her grandkids are watching, by all means, call the petty line. It's 678-871-9602. I ain't gonna change my mind.
Feez wants to smoke tonight.
Speaking of all the smoke, I got a video.
I thought you would play it.
I got a video that I need my man.
Oh my God! I thought he was joking.
Oh, no. I need the man that pulls the strings back here that makes it happen, the petty man himself. G, I need you to run this video for me because y'all did hear we had a call last week from a very uninformed individual that for some reason thought that there weren't a thing called receipts in video and had the audacity to call me a clown on my show. Let's run the tape and see if he said all of what I said he said.
I heard an analogy that Fournette is a victim of not being the biggest, fastest, strongest motherfucker on the field, and he didn't know how to deal with it.
Oh, Fournette's not that good.
Expectation as you bring Tom Brady in.
I think it's the same old sucking is. To
Oh.
be quite honest with you. I mean, you got Bruce Arians, who's supposed to be what they call the quarterback whisperer. You know, he's known for doing the long ball shit, but now you bring in a high-ticket guy. I think it's more so for posturing and trying to big up the fandom. You know, they were ranked, I think, 31 out of 32 teams in ticket sales last year in stadium attendance. You know, it's going to be the same old shit. He doesn't have what he used to have.
Oh.
Arm talent has gone down. He's not a mobile guy by no stretch of the imagination. So when you look at it, I think you just bring in TB out there just to kind of boost up the ticket sales on his way out the door.
Doesn't sound like what he said last week.
Look at the division that they're in. Yeah, they got a host of wide receivers, but not a big running game. The defense gave up 400-some points last year, which is 29 out of 32 teams. It's still what it is. The sucking ears are the sucking ears. I predict we sweep that ass this year as a
The Falcons will sweep them.
The fuck they are.
Oh.
And I said it, and I'm going to say it right now. Tom Brady.
He got to come back.
I listen to ESPN today.
Okay.
In this schedule, there's no way they're going to win at least 10 games.
TB sitting pretty, man.
They'll be 10-6. I don't know if that's enough to win the division,
Oh, how about that?
An ideal
but
situation.
they're going at least 10-6.
He picked a very ideal situation to be in.
That'll get them.
Listen.
And he
That'll
called
get
his
them at
own
least second
shot.
place in a wild card.
Second place in the wild card. Didn't they get second place in the NFC South and make the wild card? I'm pretty sure they did exactly what I said they would do. And this man had the audacity calling here talking about, I didn't say, you said all of it. Don't call the petty line lying to me no more. Nonsense.
You got to admit.
Didn't you know the name of this show was Petty Sports? You used to sit at this table. You thought I was going to let that go? Man, please.
You got to admit. So that was funny. So his delivery, man. He got straight to the point, kept it 100% real. I'm like, golly. Man,
And then calling and telling all them lies.
Said the succaneers.
I mean, was convicted in it then.
Oh man, that was funny.
Yeah, I told y'all we had a petty moment for you. So now we'll get back to business as usual. Future Hall of Fame defensive end J.J. Watt is a free agent. His scenarios have been running rampant about where he will go. What team do you think is the best fit for J.J.?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa?
Tampa Bay, because they just won a championship. Fees, if he's talking about ideally where he could win, Tampa Bay. But if he's talking money, it's not Tampa Bay. Maybe Cleveland. I know Cleveland, there's a lot of interest out there right now. He steps into that defense with playmakers. We know what Myles Garrett could do. Richardson's over there. This defense is already really good. With J.J. Watt, a leader like him, they could get to the next step.
Yeah,
and
but
maybe if they make that trade also for Deshaun Watson. Or is that just like, I'm just playing Madden, right?
I was like, every single game, we talk about, you be like, but if they get Deshaun.
They get Deshaun Watson, they could be
You
like
put that man on every team in the NFL.
Team. 10 teams. If we get Deshaun Watson, we're a Super Bowl contender. That's what I'm playing about.
He can only go to one place. You can't do that for all of them.
Deshaun Watson away from being in the conversation to win.
I definitely agree with Cleveland, though, because just like I was saying last week, man, I'm like, Cleveland is one of the few teams in the NFL that has the personnel to execute that game plan against Kansas City that the Bucs showed you in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, they damn near did it in the playoffs. They lost by 5 points at Kansas City in a game that had a very controversial call, which, I mean, I still think it wasn't a bad call. It's a bad rule. But had that unfortunate happening not happened, it's very well possible that Cleveland would have made it to the AFC Championship game. So, I mean, the major if factor there is how consistent Baker Mayfield can be. But if they get JJ out there, all of a sudden their defense will be that Tampa-level problem where your quarterback doesn't have any time to throw no matter how good your QB is. So I think that's a great landing spot. A lot of people were talking about Green Bay. It's because he's from Wisconsin and he played at Wisconsin. So, I mean, that's the hometown angle.
Look like he's going to have to take a pay cut to go to Green Bay. People aren't talking about Green Bay's cap situation. It's not looking that good either. I don't know why nobody's talking about it like that, but I wonder what type of money J.J. Watt's looking for. Is he looking for – if he's looking to win a championship –
he was due $17.5 this year. I don't know if he's going to be looking for that.
He ain't getting $17.5. Not from a team that's about to go to the championship. I do think I would not be surprised if he goes to Tampa Bay. I feel like Tampa Bay's in the mix. I think J.J. Watt and Tom Brady, they might have a relationship off the field. There might be a couple conversations.
There's no need for him there. They've got all the pieces.
I thought that about some of these other guys who went on the team.
But, I mean, so long as they re-sign Shaq Barrett, I mean, JPP ain't going nowhere, and Ndamukong Suh's still there, Veda's there. They don't need him.
I feel like it's a big if on the Shaq Barrett thing. And I talked about Shaq Barrett leading up to the Super Bowl, how he's going to want his money. And what did he do? He performed in the Super Bowl, performed against Green Bay, the 3 sacks. I think Shaq Barrett wants his bread.
He earned it.
Yeah, Shaq Barrett wants a huge deal. I don't know if Tampa's going to be bring back all those players, especially Shaq Barrett. That's an interesting move right there. I think they should prioritize with him. But if he doesn't, maybe J.J. Watt goes there. I'm not saying it's an upgrade, but
I
it's
think
something.
they keep Shaq Barrett just for the mere fact that they say Tom Brady is already looking at restructuring his contract. He's already came in and infused the Patriot way, which now folks are trying to call the Brady way. But I think what he's also done is gone to the front office and showed them how he worked his contract. I mean, he's done this many a times.
So if Tom Brady goes to the front office and says, look, I want to bring back Shaq Barrett and I want J.J. Watt too, do you think that could happen realistically?
I don't think he can restructure for that much. I mean, what he's done in the past, just like his highest paid year in the NFL, the most he made in any one season off of his money from the Patriots was $28.8 million in a season. That was in 2016, the year that he got suspended for the first 4 games. You know how much money his actual yearly salary was? It was $800,000. He got a $28 million signing bonus, and none of that money touched the salary cap. He been getting his money. Folks be always talking about he taking these pay cuts. No, he's not. He's just moving it. He restructures his contract every single year.
Why aren't other teams doing that then? All these guys, especially these quarterbacks who keep saying, oh, I don't have a line. I don't have a defense. They're not paying for players. poor me, I'm making $30-something million, and it's all on me. Why don't they do that? Why aren't their agents doing that? Or
Because
these teams?
they're
Why
not
aren't they
winning
flexing
Super
rules?
Bowls and winning the division and going to the conference championship every single year for their front office to trust them that way. But I mean, he just walked into Tampa, gave him a Super Bowl. It's very well likely he's going to go in there and instead of them paying him $25 million in base salary, cut his salary to $10 and give him a $15 to $20 million signing bonus and clean up $15 million in cap space.
Any chance that he plays with T.J. Watt, J.J. Watt, and T.J. Watt in Pittsburgh?
I don't know, man. Like, I've heard people talking about that, and they're like, that would be a feel-good story if the three brothers could go play together, but Pittsburgh doesn't need him. Pittsburgh has way greater needs than bringing in J.J. and shelling out any money for him.
That quarterback position, even though they just said, I seen on ESPN, they just said, what's name's their guy? But they're still committing to Roethlisberger?
I mean, they're going to cut his contract down, but they still don't have a quarterback because Roethlisberger is clearly washed up.
Then why do they say he's our guy? They said that with confidence. That's a
But
statement.
Marquise Pouncey just retired. You don't have a center. You don't have a legitimate quarterback. You need, they could use DBs. They need a running back. They need everything but people on the front seven. They don't need linemen and linebackers.
Did J.J. Watt, not J.J. Watt, did Pouncey just retire thinking, I thought maybe him and Big Ben are going out together. I thought it was one of those combinations. Didn't he even sit on the bench? He came over. And
I mean, they seem like they were going out together, but, his brother, his twin brother, was kind of a little closer to him. They retired together.
What do you know? That's funny.
The Pouncey twins retired together, so Big Ben, you lost out. But Pittsburgh has way bigger needs than trying to worry about getting J.J. Watt. That would be stupid. They'll be the same team they were last year. You'll beat bad teams because of your defense, and any team that has an elite passing game will beat you.
Think J.J. Watt has any interest in coming to Atlanta?
No.
No interest in coming to Atlanta. They always have a pass rush need.
I don't think he wants to go anywhere that's not contending for a Super Bowl, which is why I didn't even go in on. I want him in New England, but I don't think he'll come. So it's not even a point to argue. He's not going anywhere that doesn't have a chance to win. That's, I think, Green Bay, Cleveland, those are probably the only two destinations that he's seriously considering, unless somebody like Kansas City hits the table. He might have an interest there, but I don't really think they have a pass rush that would get him out of being doubled and tripled the whole game. I don't think he wants that either. If he goes to a team that already has a good line and he can be an addition to it,
I think Kansas City
he's
has
going to eat. Kansas City's line is only as good as their offense is playing because they know that you have to pass the ball because you're down.
I think
their line isn't that good.
I think they have a pretty straight defensive line. I think that's a team that he go to and win, but I don't know if there's any interest there. You never know, man. There's probably a dark horse team out there, but I still think Tampa's his number one option. I think Tom Brady will reach out, especially if the Shaq Barrett thing doesn't get under control. Because Shaq Barrett might come out and literally want to be the highest paid defensive player.
He's got to go somewhere that already has a good defense and has a legit shot. But they also need quarterback situations. Like, the Colts and the 49ers both have legit defenses that he can come in and really take them over the top, but neither team has a quarterback.
Yeah.
Someone's like, we don't know what we're going to do with that. I mean, we hear Jimmy G's going to get cut. We don't know who's playing quarterback for the Colts. So I don't see him going to either one of those unless one of them were to make a move very soon.
And that's the thing with these organizations. You never know where they're going because one day you hear, especially San Francisco, about the Jimmy G thing getting cut. Next thing you know, you don't. So maybe some of those moves go ahead, or I don't know how long the J.J. Watt thing's going to drag out.
He's got plenty of time.
Yeah.
I mean, we may have to wait a good little while on that one. But I think Cleveland is definitely going to be the spot.
Okay.
I will go with that. So, man, before we hit that fact or fiction segment, we go on to college football. So we changing gears all day today. Urban Meyer reportedly told Trevor Lawrence to go ahead and have surgery on his non-throwing shoulder ahead of the draft to be ready for the 2021 season. Is that a smart move or a huge risk for Trevor?
I think it's a smart move. I think he basically said you're going number one. You're going number one. You're coming to our Jags. I mean, the Jags have set over $74 million in cap room. So I think that's what even got Urban Meyer interested in the job. And the money was there. And this is the challenge he wanted. He knows quarterbacks. Tebow, Alex Smith. So, and I'm not saying those guys are great. I'm just saying they had great college careers.
Man, like what?
They had great college careers.
I couldn't even hold that.
I'm just saying, what? They had great college careers, okay? Just naming a few. He got the job for a reason. That's what I'm basically trying to say. So I think he knows what he's doing when he tells him to get surgery now so it won't be an issue during the season. So I do want to see what Jacksonville could do in free agency with the offensive line to put a line around him. But, yeah, I think it's smart advice. I think he basically is coming out and saying you're going number one, which is an obvious thing at this point. He's protecting his investment. He knew when he went to Jacksonville, he'll have the quarterback who everybody's saying is the next big thing. And I think Urban Meyer believes that. And he thinks with his coaching ability in the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be a team that's in the playoffs, a team that makes deep runs in the playoffs, and a quarterback who should eventually win some MVPs and maybe a Super Bowl. So that's what Urban Meyer, I'm saying, envisions. That's that 3 to 5 year plan. So he wants him to get that surgery out the way early. So I think it's smart advice.
Yeah. I mean, initially I was like, yo, that's crazy. But yeah, if he's guaranteed him that he's going to be the number one pick, then he's playing with house money anyway. If he gets his surgery and it takes 5 to 6 months for it to fully heal, and it's like 3-4 months before he's able to actually start throwing the ball, Jacksonville's in a spot. They were 1-15 last year. Anything is an improvement. He's playing with house money. They got 2 first rounds, 2 second rounds, and a third round pick. So, I mean, Trevor comes in. They're going to bring in lots of pieces to go around him. Gardner Minshew is a formidable quarterback if you're talking about just sitting him for the first month of the season to make sure he's all the way ready. I mean, that division they're playing in, Houston clearly has fallen all the way off. You've got Indy, we don't know what they're going to look like because they don't have a quarterback. So, I mean, if they don't fix that, then they're not even going to be a problem. So, I mean, you're looking at Tennessee. And it's not like they have to contend to win the division this year. If they win 6 games, they've had a massive turnaround and are really looking towards the future and will have another good draft pick next year.
Yeah, I think 4 games are more realistic.
Well, I'm like I said, 6 games would be great for them. But they don't have to have Trevor play all 16 games.
I agree.
They can definitely let Gardner play all of September and then work him in there if that timeline is necessary. They don't have to do that. If he's healthy and he can come straight in, that'd be great for him. But there's no need to rush him. So, I mean, Urban has been covering college football ever since he retired from Ohio State. So, I mean, he should be something along the Pete Carroll lines of recruiters coming in from that college to NFL move. As you remember, when the Legion of Boom got created, you ain't heard of none of those guys. Pete Carroll put together a Pac-12 all-star team on defense and made names for. I mean, that's arguably the best secondary we've ever seen. I mean, Urban Meyer could essentially come in with all these draft picks and all this cap space and do something similar to what Pete did in Seattle down in Jacksonville, just with his, I mean, he's got knowledge on all the players over what most of the NFL teams do when we start getting into the later rounds in the draft. He knows these guys because he recruited them and he's been covering them. Like, he's got a major advantage there for like a year or two to really build a squad of guys that aren't hitting his cap. He's not going to have to pay his quarterback. He can even coax in some big name free agents and they can really put something together fairly quickly in Jacksonville if he comes in and does what he's expected to do. He's got the potential. I'm not saying that all that will happen, but just from what we have seen in the past and where he's coming from, this has the potential for maybe 2022, Jacksonville will be making a playoff run to maybe catch a late wild card, and by 23, really trying to actually be something.
I think the thing about this Urban Meyer relationship with Trevor Lawrence is this. I think long term, Urban Meyer, he could be a little bit relaxed with this job because he's going to have 2, 3, 4 years to build this team the right way. And I think what was really attracting him with this job was all that cap money. So I think just strategically saying before the draft even happens, get that surgery out the way. Just let things play out. We're taking things slow. Even if the Jags come out there, I'm not saying they will win 2 or 3 games. That'll be okay. Get a couple top 5 draft picks. use that cap money maybe this offseason, next offseason, see where things go. But you're getting one of the quarterbacks, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on him anyway, so you might as well get everything off the table first, the injuries. So we'll see how Trevor Lawrence does eventually when he plays. I don't think he's going to be immediate day one starter. I think he's still going to have to recover, but it's not a big deal. Nobody's looking at Jacksonville like they have to improve. They don't. Would not be surprised if they get the number 2 and number 3 pick next year. Would not be surprised.
They shouldn't be that high.
I would not be surprised.
I mean,
when was the last time they won a game?
If we're forecasting out, I think they won game 1. They won week 1, and then they lost 15 straight. Well, they beat the Colts week 1, and then they lost all their games.
Somehow, some way. Yep.
Yeah.
They found a way. Yep.
They don't really have a standard to live up to at this point.
Exactly. And Urban Meyer, they know. I think him and the organization, they have that relationship where it's like, this is going to be a 3-5 year building plan. I think they're going to stick with him now. I don't think it's immediately you need to win. He knew what he was doing going to a team like that and not going to a team like the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean.
Would have been a harder situation to deal with.
It's looking like Houston will probably get the number 1 pick next year.
You think so?
Yeah.
If they're able to move Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, even if they don't move him, he might sit out. And they might still get the number 1 pick.
Wow.
If he sits out, if he gets moved, they get the number 1 pick. Jets pick 2 again.
2? I hope not.
Your Jets. They're going to pick 2 again.
We draft the same guy every year.
Over and over. So, man, we're going to take another quick sponsor break. I'm going to come back, and you're getting this second edition of Feez Fact or Fiction. I'm going to see if I can stump Jansen with these questions this week.
Let's get it.
He went 5-3-1 last time. We're going to see if he can improve or if I can get up and take him out. We're going to see about it. Mike Bell, take him away.
Yes, appreciate that, man. Hey, man, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in tonight here at the Wednesday night Petty Sports Edition, all brought to you by Kingz Broadcasting Studios. We greatly appreciate everybody that's tuning in tonight. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're right here with the crew at the table, kicking it with Famous Facts, Feez, and Brother Jansen Harris here at the table. You hear what they talking about, Serena. They talking about Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence, the Hawks, the Lakers. You know what I mean? They all over the place, man. So, you know what I mean? Stay tuned. We appreciate everybody that's sharing the show. If you haven't, what are you waiting on? Spread the love. This is the season of giving. I always talk about how this is COVID-free. COVID-free here. When you can just click the button to share it, you ain't got to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? All that right there. You don't need a vaccine for it. Just share the love. We trying to go digital. We trying to go viral right now for y'all. You know what I'm talking about? Share it with your people. You can go to Boxcast on your smart TV. BOXCAST, Boxcast. Type in Kingz with a Z, Broadcasting. Kingz Broadcasting. You can watch us right there on your big screen TV and with your homeboys, your homegirls, and your man cave, your she shed, and all that good stuff right there, man. So we appreciate that. You know what I'm talking about? If you're interested in starting your own podcast, we got a radio station. We can make you famous over here at KingzBroadcasting.com. So get at us in the email at KingzBroadcasting.com, and we can talk some numbers and get you in the studio so you can do your own show, share your own message, reach out to the masses across the world, and try your hand at this thing right here they call podcasting. You know what I'm talking about? So, man, we appreciate all of that. Go over there and spend some money at KingzBroadcasting.com. We got a donate button. No donation is too big. No donation is too small. Just go over there and get at us. You know what I'm saying? We got merchandise, T-shirts, tumblers, mugs, hoodies. You see what Famous Facts and Brother Jansen wearing tonight. The world famous Petty Sports hoodies. Get yours. Go over there, put your order in, and we ship them out the same day. You know what I'm talking about? No cap. For real. So, man, big shouts out. Jansen want to give a shout out to the Just Good Sports Network over there in Gwinnett County. I think he want to talk about it a little bit over there, so I'll pass it on back to him. ATL, ho.
Absolutely. Check out the Gwinnett Sports Network. We're doing things out there. Talk about a lot of these high school guys, some of these youth people and stuff like that. So y'all keep doing y'all thing out there in Gwinnett County. Keep balling out, whatever sports you play. Stay motivated. We know COVID, it's tough, but protocol, you feel me?
Yes, sir. So without further ado, the second edition of Feez Fact or Fiction. So I got some good questions for you. I got 6 of them for you today. You know, it's hard to come up with these things. Got to come up with good questions, see if I can really take you out with them.
Okay.
All right, so question number 1. Bill Belichick has only had 2 winning seasons without Tom Brady at quarterback.
Fact.
Yes, that is a fact. In 1994, with the Cleveland Browns, in 2008, the year that Brady was out and Matt Castle led him to 11-5. Outside of that, he's 51-65 without Brady at quarterback. Record is pretty abysmal without him. All right, so you up 1-0 this time. You started off on the plus side this time.
Okay.
Last time I got you out the blocks.
Undefeated.
All right, got you for another one. LeBron James is the first 36-year-old to average 25-plus points per game and 34-plus minutes.
No. Fiction.
That is fiction. Do you know who the only other player to do it is?
If I get it wrong, that's a draw. I mean, that's a tie if I get that wrong. Do I have to name it? Larry Bird.
Wrong.
See, okay, I should have answered.
It's Karl Malone. In the 99-2000 season, he averaged 35.9 minutes per game and 25.5 points per game.
What a surprise. They don't talk about it.
No, Karl Malone is the only other player at the age of 36 to average that many points and minutes per game, and actually substantially more minutes than LeBron.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, so you 2 for 2. You're doing all right. I mean, you might be 1-0-1.
Hey, that's petty because that's technically 3 questions. That's 3 questions. I'm like 2-1. Should have said I plead the 5th or something.
All right, here you go. Every decade in NBA history, starting from the 50s, has had at least one team to win at least 3 championships.
Fiction.
It is, which I thought it would have been a fact, actually. I stumped myself until I went back to verify it. The 70s is the only decade that didn't have one team to win 3 championships. Only one. The 50s, the Lakers got 4. The Celtics won 9 in the 60s. The Lakers got 5 in the 80s, and the Celtics got 3 in the 80s. I mean, we only saw 2 teams really win in the 80s. The 90s, we all know the Bulls got 6. The Lakers got 4 in the 2000s era, and the Spurs also got 3 in that same span. And then the Warriors got 3 in this past decade. But no team got 3 championships in the 70s.
That's a good thing, right?
So, I mean, this has been a thing since the beginning of basketball. We're used to having a team dominate every decade. It always happens. So we'll see where we come with this 2021 and forward. All right, so you got, you're essentially 3-0. Like, he's doing good. You're going to miss some of these.
Hey, we're going to see. Let's see.
All right. 4 of the top 10 earners in NFL history, money-wise, do not have Super Bowls.
Fact.
That also is a fact. Those 4 are, you guessed it, number 2, Matt Ryan. He's not number 2 on the list. He's number 2. I just said that because he calls him that. You got Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, Matthew Stafford, and Alex Smith are the 4 quarterbacks that are in the top 10 earners in NFL history, and none of them have a Super Bowl on their resume. Yeah, I mean, the others, we all know these guys. In order from 1 to 6, it's Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Big Ben, Eli, Peyton Manning, and Aaron Rodgers. Those are the top 6 earners in NFL history, and it looks like Brady will pass Brees this year if Brees doesn't play. And I'm sure Aaron Rodgers will end up passing them all because he's going to, well, I don't know. Brady might not ever retire. He might actually outlast A-Rod. But it'll end up being Brady, Rodgers, and then Brees in the earnings. More than likely. Yes, I can't get you with none of these today. I got 2 more. You're going to miss a question.
Let's see.
All right. No, number 5. No NFL team has lost the Super Bowl and made it back the following year since the 93 Buffalo Bills.
Wait, you said no team? That's a fact.
That is fiction.
Oh, I'm not undefeated no more.
I know I get him a 1. The New England Patriots lost the Super Bowl to the Philadelphia Eagles in 2017 and went right back in 2018
How did I
and
not
won.
know that? I was recent.
Very recent. Yeah, so it's been done. But you know that one was fueled from the. Usually they have the Super Bowl hangover. That's the only team since the early '90s Bills to lose a Super Bowl and go right back. It's been Kansas City's got a huge hill to climb. That doesn't generally happen. Okay, last question. See if I can get you twice in a row. 2 of Pat Mahomes' 5 worst career ratings have been in the Super Bowl.
You said 2
Yep.
of his worst have been in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, of his worst career passer ratings.
I got a timer on me on this one. I'm thinking.
You got a mental Rolodex of his passer rating for every game he's played?
You never know. That is a fact.
It is a fact, actually. I mean, the last game we watched him play was the worst game of his entire career. And the year prior, against the San Francisco 49ers, that was his 5th worst rating of his career. So, I mean, 2 of the worst games we've ever seen Patrick Mahomes play have been in the Super Bowl. I mean, not to mention, he's got 17 playoff touchdowns and 4 playoff interceptions in his 8 games in the playoffs. He's 6-2. He's thrown all 4 of those interceptions have been in the Super Bowl. He's had 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in the Super Bowl. Otherwise, 15 touchdowns to 0 interceptions in the playoffs. He does not perform in the bowl. It's just a little food for thought.
Feez, you're taking major shots. Watch these. Mahomes fans are peeping what you're trying to say. They're peeping you, Feez.
Hey, all I'm trying to say is Pat Mahomes just might be
I put this in the
the
Kansas
new
City
Aaron
group.
Rodgers. I mean, he get all the credit and not the blame.
It's kind of early for all that.
He's one blown Kyle Shanahan game away from not having any Super Bowls.
Oh, it's a Shanahan thing again. It's always Shanahan's fault.
Well, I mean, look, they
It's
lost.
always Shanahan's fault.
They lost an AFC Championship game to the Patriots in 2018. They were losing by 10 in the 4th quarter of that Super Bowl to San Francisco when, for whatever reason known to man, San Francisco decided we want to try to score as many points as we can and blow them out. It's like, bruh, you're winning. Just run the ball. Did you not see what Tampa Bay did to them the following year? They took a lead and they completely scaled the whole offense back. I mean, Brady started off the game looking like he was going to throw for 400 yards and 6 touchdowns. It came out in the second half was like, nah, Pent, we up 28-9. Leonard, Rojo, do it. Stack it up. Like, run this clock out, baby. We taking this Lombardi. We don't need to score no more points. We don't care about the margin of victory. We already won this game.
Watch, next 2 years, they'll be back in the Super Bowl. Maybe not next year, but the year after that. This team is, I wouldn't say the new Aaron Rodgers. That's a little premature.
History says we won't see Kansas City back in the Super Bowl for at least another decade or so.
Oh, that's a long time. That's a long time. We'll see, though. We'll see.
I mean, what? Let me just, this wasn't even part of the show, but I'm just going to do a little exercise for you. You want to know what happened to all the last teams that went back-to-back? Like, not even one back-to-back, just went back-to-back. We'll just start from the 90s. We know the Cowboys went back-to-back, and then they went back one more time in 95, and they haven't been back since then. Then you can flip one more year up. Green Bay went 96 and 97. They won in 96, lost 97, didn't make it back until 2010. I mean, that's a long stretch.
With Brett Favre.
Then we go up a little bit farther. Denver, who beat Green Bay, won back-to-back. They didn't make it back until 2015 with Peyton. Like, new coach, new quarterback, new century. It takes a while for you to get back, but we're not done, though.
What about the Bills in the 90s?
I mean, they didn't
just
win.
They just started losing.
I mean, they went 4 straight. But, I mean, even outside of them, greatest show on turf. They didn't go back-to-back, but they went 99, they went 01, and then the Rams didn't make it back till they moved to a whole nother city. They went back in 2018. You got the Patriots, went back-to-back 03, 04. They didn't make it back till 07, but they're like the exception to pretty much every rule graphic that you could put out. Outside of that, we can move forward. The Seattle Seahawks won in 2013, lost in 2014, ain't seen them since. Pittsburgh won in 2008, went right back in 2010, ain't been back since. All these teams go back to back, and then they disappear.
But you got to look at it like this, Feez. You got to look at situations. I understand the numbers you're trying to put out there, but they got Patrick Mahomes. They really should have been in the Super Bowl the year that the Patriots were in the Super Bowl.
Oh,
so if that little offsides penalty.
Name me one of those teams that I just gave you that we didn't think was about to be a dynasty. We had Brett Favre, John Elway, Kurt Warner, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson.
I didn't think
Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
I thought Rodgers would win more, but I don't know about it.
Stop me when I name you a slaw quarterback for you to be like, this is different.
Well, Denver, that was kind of at the end of everything. He went out. That was like the end of that team right there. This is a young team led by Patrick Mahomes, led by a veteran coach in Andy Reid, who's the top 5 coach in this league. This team still has a lot of juice.
Seattle.
This team has a lot of juice left.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Brett Favre just got there.
Even let's look at Brett Favre's team, right? Brett Favre's not as good as Patrick Mahomes was. He was good,
You
but
ain't
not
telling
as good.
nobody that he wasn't in 96. You know his whole body of work now.
He was good, but this good?
You have to erase everything from 97 forward. All we know is he won a Super Bowl and then lost the next year, and he's projected out to be one of the all-time greats, if not the greatest.
Well, who's going to beat this Kansas City team?
I mean, clearly.
I see, okay, Buffalo's going to be a top contender next year. Who else? What other team is going to be able to compete with them? I don't see
Cleveland, without question.
What are they going to do with the quarterback? They got to get some competent quarterback play.
They just have to have enough defense. If they can put that kind of heat on Pat, they don't.
That's a big if. We haven't seen this type of heat on Pat. It was one game. I think we're overreacting.
You have to have the personnel, and Cleveland has it. Especially if they bring in J.J. Watt, Cleveland can do that too.
They don't have the leader at quarterback.
If they hold them to 9 points, they don't need no leader.
I don't know. I think they're going to do that.
Kansas City defense ain't good enough to hold nobody under 9.
Kansas City's defense isn't that bad.
Kansas City defense is mediocre.
It was one game.
It's middle of the road.
Feez, it was one game. They have a good pass rush.
Their defense is middle of the road.
They have a good pass rush.
Pass rush is average.
Their secondary is pretty good. I wouldn't say average.
Middle of the road.
You're overblowing the Super Bowl game. That's one team who's able to exploit them like that. It's not a recipe for every team's not going to do that. You got people even in Atlanta who
Did you see them against Cleveland?
They won the game.
The Browns, it was about 5 points.
They still won the game.
They easily could have lost that game.
But they won the game if they
But you saying who can beat them, and you act like they beat them by 40.
They still beat them, though.
They barely beat them.
Even look at the Bills. Look at the Bills. And I was rooting for the Bills. The Bills, even when they took the lead, they had no chance to win the game. I knew it. They were kicking field goals. Why? Because Kansas City has a competent defense. That's what made them so dangerous. That's what's making them the favorite next year.
Their defense is average at best.
I wouldn't say average. They're above average defense. They can take the ball away, and you've seen them do that. They stepped up in the playoffs.
That was the same defense that was down by 10-plus points every game last year in the playoffs, including the Super Bowl. They wait on Patrick Mahomes to get some late-game heroics and try to ride the momentum.
Look what they did against the Bills.
That's one game.
They contained Josh Allen. Look at even Cleveland. The quarterback went out. The defense stepped up. Defense played well. Cleveland's offense wasn't going up and down the field. I'm saying this team is built. I'm not saying they'll get there next year. I'm not saying they'll get there next year, but because of their defense, because of what Patrick Mahomes is able to do, and he's going to be motivated after losing the Super Bowl, they should be the favorites, or at least up there with Tampa Bay.
They have them as the favorites, and it's absurd.
Yeah,
There's no logic that says that Tampa Bay shouldn't be the favorite to repeat.
There isn't a team clearly we could state in the AFC and be like, okay, that team is clearly going to go out there and is better than this Kansas City team. There's no team we can sit there and say in the AFC. And if you want to say Tampa Bay, okay, I'll give you that. We last time they both played, we seen what Tampa did. If you want to say Tampa should be the favorite, okay, I'm not going to argue that. But to say Kansas City's not clearly the favorite in the AFC, I can't. Cleveland, I hope they take the jump. But, they're Deshaun Watson away from making your point right.
Kansas City is the favorite. They're not a runaway favorite. You're making it sound like there's no other team in the AFC that stands even remotely a chance, and that's absolutely not true.
Maybe Buffalo.
No.
Colts if they could get Deshaun Watson. Miami if they can get Deshaun Watson.
You'll see.
And Cleveland if they can get Deshaun Watson.
We about to start making some of these Skip Bayless bets and bet some cases, but I don't want no diet do. Kansas City will not make it back to the Super Bowl.
You don't think so?
I got a case of Jameson on that. That's a lot more expensive case than do.
Okay. I'm telling you, man.
They're not going back.
You don't think so?
No.
How about the next 2 years? You don't think they're going back?
No.
At all?
No.
So what round are they going to lose in next year? AFC Championship?
I don't know where they'll lose at. They'll be in the playoffs, and they're not going to the Super Bowl.
I don't know about next season, but the next 2 years, they'll definitely be back in the Super Bowl. Definitely be back in the Super Bowl. Probably next year. Can't guarantee it, but most likely. I don't have any much confidence in any other team in the AFC to make the Super Bowl.
These are about to be the Aaron Rodgers years.
Oh, no. Don't do that. Aaron Rodgers lost so many times in NFC Championship games. Patrick Mahomes already been to 2 Super Bowls. Really should have been 3, but hey, guy wants to jump off sides.
We can't
you're right.
forecast what didn't happen.
Yeah, you're right. I'll give you that.
If the team was more disciplined, they may not have gotten beaten so bad in the Super Bowl.
They did lose, but in the Super Bowl.
They have so many pre-snap penalties. That is an extremely undisciplined football team.
But
they get away with it.
It was one game.
Because they score points. No, it's not one game. They're the 4th most penalized team in the entire NFL, and everybody's acting like they got shafted. They do that every week. They just normally run the score up.
I don't think
they always do stupid stuff. They just normally get away with it.
I don't think they got shafted. I'm not one of those agenda guys. Oh, the excuses. No, they got beat on both sides of the football. They went into the game. They weren't prepared. Tampa Bay was the better team. But before that,
it's like if you're the 4th most penalized team in the league, how did people fix their mouth up to act like, oh, well, they called all those penalties? That happens to them every game.
Yeah, they just got exposed in that game against Tampa Bay. Last week against the Bills, they outplayed them on both sides of the football. And then the week before that, they outplayed Cleveland. These are teams that you got faith in to make the Super Bowl next year. They got outplayed. And the defense of Kansas City.
I didn't project anyone to actually go. I said they could beat Kansas City. They don't have to play them in the AFC Championship game.
They gotta show them. They gotta show it next year.
They ain't gotta play them in the AFC Championship game.
Because before Tampa Bay, what was the narrative? Kansas City is unbeatable. They're the team that's going to run away with the Super Bowl. That's what a lot of people were saying. There was some Tampa Bay people, but most people thought Kansas City would win the Super Bowl.
I mean, I didn't even pick them to make the Super Bowl.
Who, Kansas City?
Yeah.
I thought the field would get them too. I was wrong. I was hoping the Bills. I thought the Bills would sneak one, somebody, but the Bills' offense wasn't capable of scoring on that defense.
Yeah, I mean,
Tampa
we'll
was
see.
though, but we'll see.
After what we saw in that bowl, it's a lot of teams that are going to make the requisite changes to try to impose that strategy against them. Life is going to be a lot more difficult.
Yeah, we'll see though, man.
And they don't play consistent football either.
Hey, consistent enough to go to back-to-back Super Bowls?
Yeah, I mean, it happens. And then they fall off. You won't see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl for the next 5 years.
Oh, come on, man. Don't say that. You know it's not true.
That.
No. Hey.
Book that.
Y'all got this tape now. We pulling this tape next year. We're going to get petty on the next shot. We can pull it if Kansas City makes the Super Bowl.
Only difference between me and other folks is I won't deny that I said it. I know what I said.
Yeah. He about to call in, man.
Yeah, don't bother. We're not answering. We're going to move on to the next topic. We're going to jump back to the NBA right quick. So we got a little less than 20 minutes. Oh, we got to move this thing right quick. Hold up. Actually, we already discussed that. I'm going to skip that topic. We going back to football, to y'all beloved Dirty Birds. Will a 32-year-old Julio Jones stay healthy in 2021? And should the Falcons look to move him?
I mean, if the well, you heard that answer before I even answered it. But I think Julio Jones, man, I'm not going to sit here and act like when healthy, he's one of the best receivers in the league, if not the best receiver. But the health is a question. Only playing 9 games, only really, I don't know, man. His health has been an issue because it's like every game, even the games he does play, you feel like, okay, it's something with the leg or something slowing him down. Maybe it's the old age. I hate to say this.
Like,
yeah. Because in 2019, played 15 games, 99 catches, over 1,300 yards. He could ball when healthy, but this Falcons team just feels like it's getting older, and they kind of need to move on in a younger direction. Calvin really needs to be the number one guy. But the health thing is 50-50 with me, man. When was the last time you seen Julio just play 16 games?
He doesn't do that.
There's always injuries or nagging injuries. I know he's one of the best receivers ever to play, but I don't know. Maybe this is the time to move him, though.
Only 9 games.
You move him while he's still hot.
Yeah, but he's due $23 million this year. He got $15 million in base with a $5 million signing bonus.
His agent did a great job. That was a great contract they maneuvered.
Yeah, but that contract has him stuck.
Yeah. I do think he probably would have been moved. Him and Matt Ryan probably would have been moved. And people hate to say that, but I think that would have happened if their contracts were more flexible.
Well, there is one contract situation that could fit Matt Ryan and Julio Jones into it all at the same time. You package Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and the second round pick, or not even the second, actually, in order for you to really make this worth the round, that 4th pick in this upcoming draft. Give him Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, 4th pick in the draft for Deshaun Watson. I know you always want to make everybody get Watson. I think that's the only way that they can comfortably move Watson and get something for him in return that is worth their while. If they get Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, they'll now have the 4th pick. They can bring in their quarterback predecessor that doesn't have to play, so they can take a flyer on a Zach Wilson to just let him sit there and learn behind Matt Ryan, or maybe pick up a Mac Jones, or whoever they think would be able to run the same offense that they can implement with Matt Ryan. Bring Deshaun Watson out to Atlanta. He's already got a host of wide receivers to throw to. All they got to do is pick him up a running back and do something about the defense, which the defense would be greatly helped by a quarterback that can sustain points and drives. Because, I mean, Matt Ryan was scoring, but then they just tail off in the second half. It's like they kind of flip-flop.
Yeah, I do.
At one point, we were like, man, they're just known for blowing games. It was like they would just, like, they get up, not like they get out there and then they get blown out. They come back and it'd be like, they really weren't in the game. The team started playing a prevent and they put up a bunch of stats and made the score look closer. This past season, they were getting up early in every game and then getting walked down. I mean, you can say the defense wasn't that good, but the defense was good enough for you to get that lead while they were holding everybody. You can at least sustain drives enough to not let a team come back, and that falls back on the offense. You can't even put a couple of field goals on the board? Give me a 10-play drive for a field goal. That eats a lot of time. So, I mean, I think Deshaun Watson in Atlanta could really bandage a lot of wounds that they have on both sides of the ball.
I do too, but I think they explored that already. I'm one of those who believe Terry Fontenot really was trying to shop Matt Ryan. I think Houston, maybe that deal was on the table, but Houston probably said absolutely not. And they probably said it like this: I don't know about Julio Jones' health. This isn't 2015 Julio Jones, this isn't 2015 Matt Ryan. I don't even know if they want Matt Ryan. I don't think Houston. Yes, what you said.
Who can give Houston a better deal? Because they can get another quarterback. They don't even have to really hitch their wagon to Matt Ryan. You're getting the 4th overall pick also.
But here's the thing about Matt Ryan though, and I think it's somewhere in the middle. There's some people in Atlanta who truly believe, if Matt Ryan gets a competent coach or a competent coordinator, which they should have now, everybody was talking about Arthur Smith, then he's still top 5, top 6 player. And there's people outside the league who don't even believe Matt Ryan's really a top 10 quarterback anymore. There's people don't believe that. You go outside of Georgia, there's people who'll sit here and tell you Goff and Stafford are just as good. It just depends on the weapons. In Houston, they might believe that Matt Ryan isn't that guy. Absolutely not. We won't even take it with the 4th pick. We'll just see if his feelings. Seriously. Because you know Terry
we took Matt Schaub. We ain't doing it again. What? We don't want no more Atlanta quarterbacks.
Because Terry Fox. I'm serious, man. Because it depends on how you look at it. It's like the trade with LA. What you see with Stafford. There's people in the country who are like, yeah, man, if Stafford just gets a defense and just gets the right coach, well, hopefully that's the situation. And there's people who believe Stafford is overrated. It just depends how you look at it.
I'm people.
Exactly.
He's highly overrated.
And I think Terry Fox has hit up Houston and has begged and said, please take this contract. I want a fresh start. Maybe that's true too.
That could have been an Arthur Blank veto deal.
And Arthur Blank, maybe he just wants Matt Ryan go out and just retire.
I mean, I think
6 wins, 4,500 yards might be good enough for half the Falcons fan base.
That would have been an amazing deal for both teams. Houston wouldn't suck, and Atlanta would come up.
I do kind of like that trade. I just feel something in Houston. They don't like the whole Julio Matt Ryan thing. They don't believe they're as good as what the names sound. You feel me? I think it is a good trade, but I think they still want Watson, but they don't want to move him for that. I don't think they want Matt Ryan. They don't like that contract. They don't like that contract at all.
Yeah, man. I think that's a great trade. I mean, y'all saw the other day Nick Wright put that huge monster trade up and said that was the greatest fake trade ever. I think mine rivals it. What y'all feel like? Put my trade up there. Like, Nick, come get this smoke.
We're going to post that video, too. We're going to see what these Falcons... Oh, you're going to have people say, oh, you can't trade Matt Ryan, the Hall of Fame quarterback. Mr. 4,500 yards and 5 wins.
Hey, I mean, to all you Atlanta people that feel like you can't get rid of Matt Ryan because he's a future Hall of Famer and he took you to a Super Bowl and he won an MVP and he puts up all these yards. New England came up off of Tom Brady. Miss me with that. If he can go and the Colts got rid of Peyton Manning, what are you so stuck on Matt Ryan for? He ain't won you nothing. These dudes gave these places rings. He ain't gave you Nathan. Why are you so stuck on him? Let him go.
Can you imagine Matt Ryan in Philly? That would be down his. He wouldn't last in Philly. Philly is that fan base is crazy.
No team want Matt Ryan. They keep making it like he can go somewhere and win.
Yeah, man.
Go somewhere else and win a Super Bowl. That's what they said.
I like the deal if we didn't have to give up the number 4 pick. If it was any other way to do it, other than giving up that number 4 pick, I would love it.
Why not? I mean, what were you trying to get with the number 4 pick? A quarterback? You get Deshaun Watson.
Well, we got a whole lot of holes on our team, defensively and offensively. Still,
He masks a lot of those holes.
Running back, O-line, D-line, corners, D-back.
See, might think it's good enough just for Julio Jones and Matt Ryan and the 2nd round pick, but not the 1st round pick.
Now, give him a number 4.
Maybe that's what Fontenot said. Maybe that's what Eric Fontenot said. Jerry Fontenot like, absolutely, we're not giving you number 4 pick. You can have everybody else on the roster. We'll throw in Dante Fowler Jr. too.
You rather hold on to the number 4 pick or have a quarterback for the next 10, 15 years? Matt Ryan ain't got that much juice left in his tank, and clearly Julio ain't going to play that much longer. Let him go. You brought in Dimitroff and held on to him all that time thinking that he was going to bring in that Patriot way recruiting system. He didn't at least tell y'all that the way they operate is to get rid of you earlier than later. Don't wait till you can't get rid of him. Trade him while he still got some juice and you can get something for him. If you can get Deshaun Watson, give him all of them.
Maybe Matt Ryan is going to play in his 40s like Tom Brady.
Oh, stop it.
That's like,
if he plays into his 40s, then Mercedes-Benz Stadium is going to close because the PSLs will never get paid. Ever. Soccer tickets don't cost enough to pay those. Same seat at an Atlanta United game costs $30. There's $250 to go watch the Falcons play. And then Five Stripes and brought a championship inside the stadium. Not just to the city, they won it in the stadium. And they got the audacity to be charging all that money. They go sit and watch that mediocrity. Like, nah, man. Trade them all.
Hit the reset button. They're so
It's
scared to
it's
reset.
time to let them
They're
go.
so scared of being a losing team, which you already are. But for whatever reason, they still think 79 is good.
You got rid of the coach. You got rid of the GM.
Yeah, it's the
Let
reset
the rest
button.
of them go.
It's the reset button.
And,
They're trying to avoid
Terry Fontenot got a hard job because Dimitri gave Matt Ryan and Julio all that money. He stepped. Of course, he would get that job too. He steps into this job. It's a tough job.
This is what Matt Ryan cushion has been his whole career. They've always gotten rid of everybody except him. Every position on the team except him.
Oh, he's no longer irreplaceable, though, not with Arthur Smith there.
Arthur Smith, I guarantee you, him and Fontenot have said if we're able to move him, we're moving.
Arthur Smith is more irreplaceable than Matt Ryan because he is the son of Arthur Blank's tight man.
That's why Airbnb.
He's got even more connect.
Airbnb blowed the interview because he was talking about getting rid of Matt Ryan. That's what it was.
Hey, Eric Bieniemy, if they had brought in Eric Bieniemy and made this trade for Deshaun Watson, the PSLs would have been sold out before they actually signed that contract. The whole city be behind them. I'd be at the games. We'd always support them.
You been keeping up with Jamila and Wesley?
Yeah, I've been seeing this nonsense in the chat talking about some 10 rings. That didn't even need to be addressed. Pittsburgh ain't been to the Super Bowl in over 10 years, let alone talking about 10 rings. She's trying to claim a 2016 Super Bowl. Didn't you go to Foxborough and get blown out in AFC Championship game in 2016? Doesn't sound like a Super Bowl team to me. But you're not getting that much airtime with your raggedy Steelers who had the worst 11-0 team in the history of football.
Yeah, that didn't end well.
No. Before we go, we got one more topic to touch on for you. One that you probably heard on every show that you listened to in the past couple of weeks, ever since that Super Bowl touched. But it was one Hall of Fame basketball player. Is he in the Hall of Fame? I'm not sure if he is or not.
He'll be there.
But Paul Pierce recently came out and said that Father Time is no longer undefeated because of LeBron James. Now, I understand what he's saying, because LeBron is 36 years old, playing at an MVP level. At 35, won his fourth championship and the Finals MVP. But I'm going to need you to pump your brakes just a little bit. There's this other guy who just a week ago won his 7th Super Bowl that so happens to be 43 years old, playing 1,000 times more brutal sport. I don't understand how you would give that title to LeBron.
Because he's more popular and he has more clout than Tom Brady. But what you're saying is actually more realistic. I mean, Tom Brady, really, his name shouldn't be mentioned with LeBron's name.
No.
But for some reason, even Tom Brady kind of groups himself. They kind of like group, even though it's not really real, because Tom has won more in a harder sport to win more. So, and he's 43 years old. That's ridiculous still to think about it.
Yeah.
How Tampa Bay won the championship. But of course, LeBron's the clout guy, man.
But I mean, I
He's
can
the most
bring
popular athlete.
I can bring it more full circle for you. At 35, LeBron won an NBA championship and won Finals MVP. At 35, Brady won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. But then at 40, he became the oldest NFL MVP, oldest quarterback to start a Super Bowl, and broke the Super Bowl passing records for yards. And then at 41, again became the oldest quarterback to start and win a Super Bowl. And then at 43, won another Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. How the hell you telling me LeBron beat Father Time and Brady is not the reason why he got that L? If you're saying that Father Time has 2 L's, I can take that. The reason Father Time is no longer undefeated is Tom Brady.
Yeah, there's no arguing that. But, these guys, man, it's like LeBron. It's just all LeBron. Yeah, Tom is Tom. You feel me? He's not the clout guy.
It's not even logical how they come with this argument. It's like, wait, what? What?
Yeah, it's not, man. I mean, just imagine if it was like Cam winning all those championships, how the clout would look. But anyways, you feel me? I'm just playing. But yeah, man, you feel me? It's not LeBron. It's just the brand of LeBron is just much bigger, and everybody's looking at him, and he's the guy. And then there's Jordan, and Tom is kind of just NFL less popular player. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I
Popularity
think
contest.
it's disrespectful to Brady to keep comparing him to LeBron on any level.
I agree.
It is not to slight LeBron. It's the fact that
Russell.
It's like he has more, like way more than anyone else. It's not even close. Like that's more Bill Russell status.
Yeah, I agree.
He's been to the same amount of championships as LeBron. And effectively, if you take out his injury years where he actually didn't play for 2 whole seasons, he's played 1 more year of football than Bron played basketball. Been to the same amount of championships and won 3 more. I mean, that's pretty major. He's played 19 seasons in the NFL. He's been there 21, but he played 19.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, Feez. You're not saying anything that ain't true, but hey, everybody just overlooks Tom Brady. Let's talk LeBron. They're going to talk about him tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, they're going to keep talking about him. Just like you said, he's going to have to take some of this accountability, and that's going to be what it is. So next week, when we come back on this thing, we got a special guest to sit at the table. It's going to be a heated show. We got a lot to debate. So I know, as most of y'all know, this coming weekend, Deion Sanders, Jacksonville State University will take the field for the first time. We're going to chop it up about that. We're going to talk about the Australian Open Finals. Plenty of NBA. We got a lot going for you. Give you a little preamble to what it's going to be next Wednesday. So, give them your outros. Let them know how they can find you.
Follow me, Jansen Harris, personal accounts. Y'all hit me up with sports topics. Love being on the show. Shout out to everybody. Feez, appreciate you having me on. Mike, appreciate you. The Petty Man himself, appreciate you. Can't wait to get the hoodie. Just Good Network. Everybody go follow them. Gwinnett Sports Network coming back, covering high school stuff, youth sports. Appreciate being on the show. Everybody drive safe tonight.
Yes, sir. Y'all know what it is. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. As always, every Wednesday night, same petty time, same petty station. Y'all know how to find your boy. It's Famous Facts. It's Famous Feez on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Cash App, wherever you want to find me. Y'all can call the petty line if you want some of that smoke. And as you saw what happened tonight, if you come for me and you wrong, I'll take you out.
Oh, my God.
But by all means, I welcome your calls. Y'all call the petty line. Y'all continue to chop it up. Like, share, tell a friend. Make sure you tell everybody about petty sports, because that's what it is. So that before we get up out of here, got to remind you to always keep it petty. And we out.